2,500 days. God damn. Celebrating today by treating myself to a nice autumny, springy, wintry walk into town. I've got to do some shopping and I'm going to take a nice casual stroll down this path. It's fucking freezing and I like it. I love it when it's nice and crisp and like you can see like this little white kind of dusting of frost, you know. It's played taking the longboard down, but cycling is the best because then I can cycle and lock it up somewhere. It's really difficult to lock up a longboard at the least. So I thought maybe I should take my old longboard, but both longboards would be a pain in the arse to carry around shops. And I don't know exactly what I want yet. So I need to be open to doing quite a lot of browsing. So I thought, best not. Almost got the bus, but then I thought, you know what, I want to talk to you guys, you know? It's been a while since we've had a nice long chat like this. I realised yesterday that we forgot peppers we're making sweet and sour chicken. We forgot peppers. And I went up to the supermarket to go grab some. And there is no way you could get to that supermarket and back faster. In fact, there's only one way you could get there faster than that board in GT mode, is changing the wheels to the street wheels and doing it in GT mode. I was literally like out, fast, as fast as I possibly could. It was wicked. Thoroughly enjoyed it. The problem with, like, Laura says this with her bike as well, the problem with this path in particular and another mode of transport is when you then start walking on it, you forget how fucking long it is. It's just a massive slog, just being like, oh, okay, oh right, oh I'm only at this bit. Whereas normally obviously on a longboard you're going like 4 times quicker, 5 times quicker. So, but it's nice. It's gonna make my lips all dry, but it's nice. This pigeon here was just stuck in this tree and I'm like, how am I going to save you? But he got out, so it's all good. I also want to walk because I didn't go swimming this morning. I went through a phase of swimming like every Sunday and I really enjoyed it. And then I dropped off of that phase because of a couple of weeks where we went out late or had drinks on a Saturday night and I didn't want to get up on a Sunday morning. So I missed it today as well. I woke up at 6:30 thinking, shall I go? And then said no, I'll sit and finish off some programming. I finished off some stuff. This morning I finished off all of that configuration stuff so that now the front end, although I have to add it to the API gateway, the front end can make a request to the back end and say, hey, what do you support? And I'll send you the data. I also figured out a way of making it so that if you triple or double clicked a submit button, it wouldn't submit the form twice, which is a lifesaver. The amount of times that we have problems for that kind of stuff. It's almost the kind of thing where you'd expect some kind of default JavaScript plugin to be like, don't submit forms twice. You know what I mean? Like maybe submit it like once every 3 seconds or something like that, but not that quick. Because it just causes problems. And the problem you have as well is if you double clicked it fast and like you get past the bit where it's checked, you get like a race condition where in theory you could have 2 threads get past the has another thread called state. Because you'll go, if this hasn't already been done, set it to it's already been done. But if both of you hit that line basically at the same time and you can't set that variable, it's not atomic. So, especially not in JavaScript. So, it's good fun. Figured out a way to do that. Now, like I say, I just need to extend the API gateway and then plug in my front end, which is good. Just still trying to figure out whether GraphQL is the way I'm going to go or REST. We'll find out. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be the first time that the front end's ever done a REST call, a GraphQL call out to get data. So that should be good fun. And that's kind of why I wanted to sit down and do it. I knew I was going to lose most of the day to this, so I wanted to get a bit of programming done this morning. I think it's kind of the theme. I'm trying to maximise as much time as I possibly can into programming and churning out what I can. And it feels like slow progress, but then I looked at, like, I toggle how much time I'm spending on stuff so that I time it and then basically it stops. I start and stop it whenever I start and stop programming. And the feature that I'm doing has taken me about 47 hours so far, which to us, to me at least, is basically a sprint. One person in a sprint, because we have 5 hours a day, in theory, 2-week sprints. So one person will be able to do 50 hours of work. And I'm like, that's actually really good. That's really quick progress for the amount of stuff I've done as part of this task. But it doesn't feel like it. And I'm trying to figure out ways of maximising how much time I can spend on that project. And I do kind of feel guilty not spending time on it. Which is kind of why there's such big gaps between me doing uploads now. I now have my last 2 videos and this video are still on this camera. I haven't even taken them off yet. That's kind of the balance that I've been trying to balance out with this vlog in particular, is I have a desire to document in some way like this current aspect of my life. Like, I have a goal and I kind of want to document that goal, and yet I feel like actively documenting that goal is partially, although very minutely, holding that goal back, and it's very difficult to kind of rationalize that. Also, obviously, like, certain aspects of my life make it difficult to do this vlog because of my work. I obviously can't talk ridiculously about my work too much. I can't talk about my project too much. There's a lot of things I can't talk about too much. I just don't have the opportunity to. When I'm on my longboard, it's too windy to vlog. When I'm in the car, it's not particularly safe to vlog. I'm proud of myself to get to this point, but I'm conscious of the fact that quality is dropping somewhat, let's say. I feel like I could do better videos. I could even do better vlogging, let alone the vlogs at the end of it. But everything takes willpower and everything takes energy. And I feel like I've got a lot of things vying for my attention. And I have like my own project, I have like politics at work, I have like the work at work. I have like things like the house, this vlog. Just a lot of things that are fighting for attention and energy, and I can like spend time giving energy to that one thing and then other things start to drop off. And I feel like I'm doing too much at once. And also, something that's actually like pondered me for a while is how some people are so like open about where they work. Not necessarily what they work on, but where they work. People like Jake Wright is an obvious option. Very open about where he works. And Jonathan Stewart, to a lesser extent, talk a lot about where they work and why they work there and all that kind of stuff. And it's something I've always tried to stay clear of. I've almost kind of treated it like my home address. I don't vlog near work, I don't say who it is. It's not private information. You could find it out if you wanted to. I might just mention, I might message him, see what he thinks, see what his thoughts are on that. I kind of treat it like my own personal address. Like, I wouldn't deliberately release my personal address, so I wouldn't deliberately release my work address either, you know? I don't know, it's just something that's bemused me for a while. Because in theory, you could do a lot of damage with that. And it's not even a case of like, work, well, to a certain extent, work doesn't want to be associated with these vlogs either. So, I don't know, man. Just a number of things I've been thinking about. But I guess most importantly, I want to thank everyone who's stuck with me so far for all these videos. I genuinely do really appreciate it. And while I may seem like I abandon you sometimes, while I may seem kind of every now and again disheartened by making these videos, because of either like the amount of time it takes versus the amount of not feedback I get back, but value I get out of it. I can only apologise for that, because I genuinely do appreciate it. I genuinely do appreciate and read every comment and all of that kind of good stuff. There's some crazy old lady just shouting at me for some reason. I don't understand why. So yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for sticking with me. I hope I can keep you entertained and keep these videos up to track. And as I drive to try and maintain some semblance of value of these videos, that I don't drive anyone away, or I don't take too long in doing that people get bored. I guess that's what I'm saying. We are nearly in town. I've got a couple of things to get. I've got birthday cards, birthday present, an alarm clock. My alarm clock's broken, as I said in last week's video. It's broken. The light definitely doesn't turn on, and I'm 99% sure it doesn't even beep anymore, because it never wakes me up. My phone wakes me up every single day now, and I set them, like, in theory that should go off 5 minutes before my alarm, and it either goes off and I just turn it off without knowing, or it doesn't go off. I'm looking for an alarm clock that I can avoid that problem with, you know? And alarm clocks are hard to come by because people just use phones. I don't want to use my phone. I want to have an alarm clock. I also need to buy a mouse mat. And I find it's quite strange that people you have to go to a stationery shop to buy mouse mats. Like computer shops, i.e. Currys and PC World, don't really do them. Don't you find that strange? Well, they do them. They do one, but it's not very good. The shop does one, but I would prefer a sturdier wrist rest. I always prefer coming to town on a Sunday because it's just dead. On a Saturday, this would be packed. Why though? It was a pretty exciting shopping trip, which basically meant me going into town to leave town and do an Amazon order instead. I got one of the present that I was going to get is being sent to where it's supposed to go, as is a card that I did get in town. I've ordered myself a new alarm clock, and I've ordered a new mouse mat, which should be coming tomorrow, thanks to Amazon Prime. There's one other thing I need to get, but I don't need to get it until like the 10th of March, when I'm going back to Nottingham, so that's all good in the hood. Otherwise, me and Laura went to sort out her bike. Her chains got really like rusty, so got that all fixed up. We cycled to Halfords, and I longboarded, and it's incredible how I don't often obviously go out when there's kids around, because normally there's I'm going at commuter time. Oh, along so many kids are like, "Mom's electric," like as they go past. But yeah, so that's pretty good fun. Otherwise, came back here, jobs. Basically, we cooked a. Well, I was doing like a load of chores while Laura was doing some work. I did a roast chicken dinner, which was delicious. Then the ironing. To be fair, that's about it. Talked to Dad on the blower. Job done, really. I'm going to bed early, 10 o'clock, which is early, because I'm aiming to get up at 2 and jump into the old sleep thing again. I seem to go through this pattern where I do the sleep thing until Thursday and then drop off. I'm hoping that a new alarm clock will stop that happening, especially because it's battery powered, which means I'm going to put it away from the bed, because like I say, I have a sneaky suspicion my alarm either doesn't go off or I'm just too good at turning it off. I think the problem is my alarm, there's 3 buttons, 2 of them turn it off and 1 of them snoozes it, which is never a good design, is it? But on a serious note, me and Laura, neither of us can remember hearing that alarm for the past week or so, so I'm pretty convinced it doesn't work, and my phone is the only thing keeping me up these days. Otherwise, productive. Right. And this morning I am going to drive through the data from the back end to the front end. I'm going to be adding this thing into my API gateway and into my GraphQL endpoint, and then hopefully get to the point where I can get the front end to ask for that data. As I hit the front end, I'm going to hit a bit of view stuff, so that might distract me, but I might not hit that tonight, depending on how long it takes me to do the GraphQL stuff. The API gateway stuff's doddle. It's just a fucking stupid config file to update, but everything else is a little bit like just do map this, map that, done. Slash define a graph, etc. because it's a new object. Sounds like a play. So I've stripped off all of the video off of this camera, but I haven't uploaded it yet. I've edited one's ready to go, so I'll do that tonight as well. So there'll be a video tomorrow. Whoa, well I guess last week. You know what this weather can be described as, boys and girls? Fucking cold. Feels like -7 apparently, and it's only going to get colder this week. Gone for jumper and hoodie, not just one or the other. Fucking around today, boys, it's cold as fuck. When I don't need a lot of control, I've got my mitten. When I do, I've got my fingerless gloves on my other hand. It was very cold. It was very, very cold. And it was cold on the way back as well. Although it wasn't as cold on the way back, because I think the sun is a little bit more, it warmed up a bit. There was less wind chill. But it's going to get worse, man. It's going to get worse. It's, like I say, Thursday is supposed to be the bad day. We're supposed to be expecting like significant amount of snowfall in Bristol. Everywhere else in the country, like east and more north, is already getting snow. But we're avoiding it because we're in the tropics. Today was a lot of management. I was like, I'm now swarming. There's 3 of us now swarming this last little bit, huge bit. We're trying to smash in before the end of the sprint, which ends tomorrow. I managed to finish off everything that I wanted to do and managed to get it all into test. Is it all in test? Oh no, it's in test, being tested at the moment. No, it's in UAT. I'm through dev into QA, yeah, so I'm happy. Managed to sign off all of my stories, whippity-doo-dah, and then we've just got to manage everyone else and manage like 3 people all trying to swarm the same thing, trying to just smash it over the line. It's going to be hard work, but we'll get there. Otherwise, like managing the other team and their PRs, we had like the worst nightmare of merging the wrong PR into master, which is a bastard, because then you got to like undo that, rebuild everything into the right order, create new PRs, and it's madness. So don't do that by mistake. And then it was a case of coming home, going shopping, all of that good stuff. My new alarm clock's here, my mouse mat's here. Here's my alarm clock. It's currently charging. It's battery operated, but I'm just going to leave it on charge all the time basically. And it's like a little diagonal thing like that, and if you flip it over, How fucking cool is that, man? I think that's pretty cool, personally. It's also got 2 alarms, which is really useful because I can set a 2 o'clock alarm and a 6 o'clock alarm, which is great. Because often, well, not often, but often I can sleep past my 6 o'clock alarm. That's like my worst alarm, actually. My worst nap to wake up from is my 6 o'clock alarm. Because I end up going into like really deep dreams and dreaming about alarms and then turning the alarm off. Whereas all the other naps I actually struggle with. My best nap is lunchtime. Nap when I get home, that's the hardest. I'll try this out, hopefully it should wake me up, which is always good fun. But yeah, bedtime. Right, so GraphQL is all configured, API is all configured, the microservice has given me the right information. Now I've just got to get my web page, my front end, to query the data, pull it back, and then dynamically display a view based on what's coming back. Due to that, I'm going to drive it from GraphQL. I feel like this is the boy to do it in. The question is, how much do you commit to... we have this problem at work where essentially we walk this fine line between like MVC and full view components and stuff. And you let MVC and view components fight each other, and it goes south. There are implications with that. Personally, I prefer most things being an MVC. This doesn't need to be a SPA. Does it? It doesn't have to be a SPA. It could be, but it doesn't have to be. So I think I'm going to stick with the MVC way, which means that the controller will do all of the requests for all the data, and then we'll be able to roll from there. Does that make sense? So the controller goes, hey, get me all the information, puts it onto a view model, fires it off. Because it's GraphQL, I'll be defining my own type, so I can define my view model and say, hey, API, populate this for me, rather than the other way around, which is, hey, API, give me what you've got, I'll map it into a view model. So there's that. Okay. That'll do. So, alarm clock. Did a good job. Too cold, so I don't want to go faster, but this guy's like just awkwardly too slow, you know? Too fast to justify overtaking without going into fast mode. I'm in eco at the moment, you know? Currently en route to the train station. I'm training in today because we've got one of those meetups after work, so I've got to get the train so I can get there in time. It's cold, that's all I can say on the matter. Secretly, deep down, I really love this weather. I just wish my trousers were warm, you know? So tempting to ride on it in this tunnel. There's nothing more fun than riding skateboards indoors. I always used to remember those places in uni where you were able to just skateboard inside a little bit. Oh, those were the days. I GT moded it the whole way back. Oh my god. What the fuck is... I've never seen that. Fairness, I've not seen snow in Bristol since I moved here. But I've definitely never seen that lake freeze over like that. Jesus. I literally have never longboarded so fast in my life. Hit the train station, just came straight home. Instead of going to the meetup thing tonight. Literally like maximum GT mode the entire way, just head down because it's snowing and just carving through, overtaking everybody. There was not a single bike that kept up with me or overtook me, which I'm proud of. But right, I'm gonna have a nap. I'm knackered. I'm really not in the mood to go to that meetup thing tonight, so I just want to chill. Feeling so like I just can't be arsed to do anything at this point. I just had a fried egg, fried egg on toast for dinner, and I've made chicken for sandwiches. I just can't be bothered. And I was on the train, it was starting to snow, and I'm like, I would rather get back now. It was a talk on Docker and Kubernetes, which I was partially interested in, but it sounded, it like could have been really interesting, or it could have been the basic demos that everyone sees all the time. So I took the executive decision and just bombed home. I think I have a sneaking suspicion I'm burning out at work, particularly at work, rather than here as well. Well, maybe I do feel like I'm burning out in general, but the days now I've come home and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm just so pooped. I'm so exhausted. And these 2-week sprints, there's no rest, it's just like consistent churning out shit. I'm getting fucking done. Basically, I'm getting cream crackered. I'm pooped. But yeah, I think Laura gets back in about an hour. She's, by the way, I don't know if I said, she's on the train to London. She went on the train to London today for a meeting of some kind. So that's why she's not here. Actually, I don't think you're bothered because there's no difference between when before when she's here and when she's not here. That's what I'm trying to say. The lake froze over, the river's frozen over, I'm freezing over. That's probably from the Dalmatian because like my nose is froze, my toes are froze. Look at that, man. That's still frozen, boy. Wake up this morning, so I haven't had a nap. I've just been reviewing something Laura's been doing for work. Got that all reviewed now. She's on her way back now. She's running late, but then we're gonna have dinner and stuff. But I'm like prepared. I'm prepared to slam something that she's put in. I've said it's the worst part, and then someone at work has reviewed it for her, and they've said that it's good. And I could not more strongly disagree. I've got like two examples translated into my language, into the software world, that explain precisely why it is that it's the weakest part of the entire thing. I don't know. Essentially, it boils down to imagine being asked to sell. Let's imagine, hypothetically, I was asked to explain what my greatest attributes were and what kind of value they could add to somewhere, right? And I said to you, having proper unit tests means that you can have greater confidence when changing source code in the future, while also reducing the cost of finding and squashing bugs in a piece of software by catching them earlier on in the software development cycle. And/or said, effective planning and refinement prior to a sprint means that work can be carried out more efficiently and ensures that all members of the team are able to properly understand what is expected of them prior to starting the sprint. What did both of those two things not do? Answer the fucking question. What are my greatest attributes and what did they add? But is there a great dictionary definition or explanation of unit tests or why you plan? But it doesn't add anything. God damn it. There's a comment literally on here that says really good in exclamation marks, and like angers me so much. And whoever's done that has clearly never done anything like this before. Not that it's whatever you think it is. I'm trying to think of a hypothetical thing that it could be that isn't what it is. And that's the closest I can think of. That kind of scenario where you're trying to sell yourself to someone. It's as close as I can get in like a parallel world that you'd understand. Because it's like, oh, fucking legal lawyer shit. But answer the fucking question, man. It was a crazy day. I had a fucking kicking ass headache. We had a planning session, which was the worst planning session in the history of planning sessions. We had 3 BAs in there who were normally not there, because we normally have another BA. But that BA's leaving, and we're all going to fucking fail. The project's going to fail on the back of that person leaving, literally. And we're discussing it. We're planning. We're not refining. We're not doing anything. We're planning. So the user story is locked down. We're just asking questions about like the UX. That's literally all we give a fuck about at this point. And we're discussing things. And then the BAs just start having an argument about whatever the fuck they're having an argument about. And I'm just like, this is our meeting. This is our planning meeting. Why are you all having an argument? And I was literally like, can you just move to this side of the table, leave the BAs up there, they can fuck off for a second, we're going to plan. And then at the end of it, we just finished planning, we're like, guys, we've finished this story, we know what we're doing, done. And they're like, oh, what about this? I'm like, irrelevant, new user story, bam, done. Get it right, over, next. It was horrendous. I had a kicking headache. I've also been I'm shadowing another sprint in someone else, in that team's leader's absence, and it's nightmarish because the 2 people in the team don't really talk to each other. They don't really talk to me. I don't really know what's going on. The testers are like, what's happening? The boards aren't being updated or anything. So I'm trying to like pressure them into doing it properly, which isn't going well. It's taken a lot of my time. I'm like, right, okay, so we seem to have like 10 PRs ready, like approved and ready to go, and yet nothing's going into test. do this. The testers are coming to me to ask me, and I'm like, right, okay, mate, focus on this. Sort that out for me, please. Just focus on those 3 things, forget everything else. You don't need to do everything else, just focus on those 3 things. And the testers are like raising bugs with me, and I'm like, whoa, raise them with him. I'm not shielding him. It's his sprint, his team. I don't give a fuck. I deployed it. I made sure the deployment worked. That's all. That was my responsibility. Ended at that point there. This guy needs to learn to listen to other people. Oh god. And then what else? Then I've got like some stuff going on with the BAs themselves. Like keep bouncing questions to me about like requirements for things coming up in the future. I did manage to get Viewliday integrated into our new story. We started a new sprint today, and I've nabbed it from the other team because the other team want to do a spike task on it. And I'm like, that's completely irrelevant. I know what I'm doing. So I did it. We needed like a chunk. Thing is, we were going to do it somewhere else, so we may as well have done it there as well. So we just picked up the story from them. Yeah, it's just been those 3 things, and then I had to do like all of the admin stuff for our own sprint because it was planning. So I had to do like the release notes from the previous sprint, all of the like TFS setup and all that trash. Oh, so it's been fucking manic. And then I came home and sorted this out. I'm consciously switching from my sleeping cycle. I'm burning out, basically. I'm like focusing so heavily on concentrating so heavily on work that I'm finding it really difficult to just like rest enough to not get frustrated and stuff at work. So I think I'm going to wait until this other guy's back, and then we can both burden the load of the trash that's thrown on us, and we'll see from there, basically. But we'll see. We've got refinement. I say we've got refinement. The other team have refinement tomorrow, so I'm going to go in and sit in on it, because otherwise, fuck knows what they'll refine. Having someone driving the conversation or something, but it's so stressful. It's supposed to be really snowy tomorrow as well, which is going to be fun. But I think, in theory, it's snowing during the day, so I'll be able to get to Bath. It's getting back again that's going to be a bit. Whose idea is it to make chopping boards where this is the other side, because the other side's like warped, where you can't brush things off of it because it just goes into a little, and then you're like, oh, gotta get it out. Oh, how fucking stupid. Sorry for context, because I'm not sure how clear that is, but there's like a little rivet here, you know, so things just fall into it when you brush it off. It's so irritating. So my suggestion got rejected, but I made my point. Alright, bedtime, ladies and gentlemen. Just nice and relaxed evening. Watching a new TV programme, which was pretty good. Otherwise, all sorted. It's bed. I've also caught up on uploading videos. I said halfway through this video that I was going to upload it on Monday, and it's going to go. It went up today. Happy days. Stay on that shit a bit better. I'm going to bed. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to revitalise. Tomorrow we've got fucking planning. Refinement for a team I don't even work in. God damn. I'll catch you later.